All right, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about a lot, especially in this current economic climate. It's probably not what you think it is. It has nothing to do with how expensive makeup has gotten or anything along those lines, and everything to do with MLMs. Now, I will say the current economic climate has kind of spurred this thought a little bit more in my head for a number of reasons. Now, I am going to give a little bit of a spoiler in that I don't like MLMs. I think that they are predatory. I think that they cause a lot of false hope for people. And I'm going to explain why I believe all of that. But if you are pro MLM, this might not be the video for you. I'm so sorry. You best scroll along because that's all I have to say on that. Now, I feel like in order to kind of explain my viewpoints and explain why this has been on my mind so much, I have to explain two things, and that is my background and a little bit about why it's come up just more recently. First things first, if you do not know what an MLM is, it stands for multi-level marketing. A lot of people refer to it as direct sales or social marketing or social selling. Those are they're synonymous with each other. They're the same thing as MLMs or multi-level marketing. Now, I'm not going to get too far into what multi-level marketing is. There are creators that do it so much better than I ever could. But for those of you that aren't aware, so that you can kind of follow along with this video, essentially what an MLM is that you buy from a company. So whether that be the actual physical product, and you have two jobs. There's two reasons why you might make money in an MLM. The first is selling those products. And the second is recruiting people to sell under you, because anybody that signs up under your name will get a cut of what you sell and who you recruit from. Does that make sense? So essentially, if Bobby Joe, I'm going to put a little picture right here, but if Bobby Joe at the top recruits 5 people, anybody that those 5 people recruit all feeds up into Bobby Joe, which is one of the reasons that I believe MLMs become so predatory, because essentially the best way to make money within an MLM is to purchase, it's not to purchase products. That doesn't really make you that much money. It's to recruit more people to sell underneath you. So now that you have kind of a basic understanding of what MLMs are, buckle up, we're going to talk about it, because I personally have had so much interactions with MLMs, and I didn't even realize how much until recently when I was kind of reviewing things and thinking about it, and I realized, oh man, I've been around MLMs for a long time and I don't like it. And one of the reasons that I've been around it so much is, first of all, I live in an area that's really rich with MLMs. I happen to live in Utah. I'm not going to go further than that because you don't need to know where I live. Don't be creepy. But I happen to live in Utah currently, and there is a lot of MLMs that were founded in this area. New Skin, doTERRA, Young Living, Modere is shut down. They're all Utah-based companies, and there are a lot more. I don't know if you guys remember Jamberry, that used to be based in Utah. That one is also shut down. There are many that pop up here, and we're not going to get into the reasons that I believe why, but there are a lot in this area. The other part about this is I happen to be a cosmetologist. I work in the hair, skin, beauty, nails, that field where a lot of these MLMs inevitably have to branch out to. I mean, health and wellness is a huge thing within the MLM community. I mean, if you've heard of Mary Kay is actually an MLM. It's one of the longest running beauty MLMs. So chances are you've probably heard of it. Now, the more that I've thought about this, the more I've realized that, man, I really don't agree with MLMs. I actually had a conversation with a coworker. This was a few months ago. We were talking, and we had brought little gifts for each other because it was around the holidays. And one of our coworkers had brought in a bunch of Scentsy stuff. Now, I will be the first to say, I have bought Scentsy stuff, and this is before I kind of dove into it and kind of looked into what Scentsy is and all of that stuff. I no longer support the company. However, at that time, I said to my coworker, I'm like, well, I don't support MLM, so thank you. I don't want anything from Scentsy, but I appreciate it. And my other coworker goes, wait, really? You really don't support? Why? And Let me tell you, there are so many reasons why. One of the reasons that this came up, at least for me more recently, is because people are in rough financial straits. People are trying to do everything that they possibly can to make money. The job market's rough. I have a brother-in-law that was laid off. You know, things are hard for people right now. They're doing everything they can to scrape together the money they can, to save money, to just to be able to get by. And I think that when it comes to MLMs, that's actually where MLMs shine, because they sell you on this idea of, oh, well, wouldn't it be so great if you were able to make some additional money on the side, or to be able to, you know, have a passive income. Or a lot of MLMers will say, I was able to retire my husband at this age, you know what I mean? There's so much of that going on, and it's very, very predatory, because a lot of the time, and you can look this up, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has actually put out numbers on this. 90% of people, I don't know the exact statistic, don't make money.
Editing Chell here. I just am looking up the actual statistics for this. I have here, it says most people actually made less than $1,000 per year, which is again less than $84 a month. And this doesn't account for any type of expenses that your MLM may require you to have. So, most participants don't make any money at all.
In a MLM, they do not make money. In fact, most people lose money, because you have to buy a kit when you join an MLM. Sometimes there are product quotas, so there's a certain amount of things that you have to sell in order to stay in the MLM. And a lot of people, if they don't make the quota, they end up buying those products themselves, which in a lot of MLMs is not allowed. However, people do it because they want to stay affiliated with that company. I've kind of explained this with a lot of word vomit. Sorry, I'll stop vomiting on you. We're just going to get into it. Oh, that was gross. I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. I am all over the place today. Regardless, that gives you just a little bit about my background and why I'm so passionate about this, why I've been around it so much, because of the health and wellness portion, because I'm a cosmetologist. I can tell you right now, I have been around a lot of MLMs. I mean, Mary Kay, like I said, one of the longest running ones, but there is also LipSense. That one, I don't remember the brand that one comes from. There's Modere, there is Monet. Yeah, it's Monet. I always try to call it something else. I always try to call it Monate. I don't know. Regardless, Monet is a really common one that people talk about. There are so many that I have, I'm not going to say been affiliated with, but that I have seen in the cosmetology realm of things. Another one is Saint Makeup. It used to be called Mascara back in the day. Now it's called Saint. They have rebranded, and I believe they no longer are an MLM. All this to say, I've seen a lot of it, and I can tell you right now, nobody I know is making money with any of it. Nobody's making money with it, which is really unfortunate, because like I said, I know a lot of people that have used it. And I'm going to give this disclaimer because this is me just yapping and telling you kind of my thoughts and essentially making a video diary. However, one caveat that I do want to just make sure that I'm saying is my hatred of MLMs really doesn't have anything to do with the product. It has to do with the business structure, the predatory nature of that business structure, and the overpriced of the products, right? Because we talked about how Bobby Joe is making the most money because everybody below him is feeding into that income, right? So he's making a commission off of everything. So because of that, the nature of the products, they are going to be expensive. I don't know if you've ever heard of Kangen water filter. This is a great example of this, or Kirby vacuums. They're not as popular now as they used to be back in the day, but those are examples of these crazy high ticket items that are just phenomenally expensive. I think Kangen water filters are like $5,000. That's just the water filter. They're very, very expensive, and they have to be for that pyramid structure of the payment scale to work, truly. So when we talk about, okay, I'm going to talk about LipSense because I happen to have some experience with this, and this is like I said, it's not about the product. I tried LipSense back before I even realized that it was an MLM, and it is a good product. That stuff stays. I'm going to be the first to admit it. I have not bought it, but I had a lot of friends who did buy it, and so I tried some of their LipSense. Now, I will say it stays. It really, really does. It was like 20 bucks for one tube. And that was just the color part. If you know anything about lip scents, you know that there's the color portion and then there is the gloss that you wear over, and you really can't wear them separately. You have to wear them together, because if you try to wear the color without the gloss, it's like tacky and it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. I would almost compare it to wearing like you know, like 2016 makeup where everybody had the very, very matte lips and then you had the butthole lips. It was a little bit like that, but just a little tacky. Instead of being like dried down, there was this layer that stayed. Very, very similar to that. But Lip Sense stayed. It stayed so well. I remember putting it on and I'm like, I ate a cheeseburger. That stuff was there. It was staying. It wasn't budging. It was a good product. It worked well. You know what else is a great product that has been around for a lot longer and is less expensive? The Maybelline Duo Shades that has the gloss and the lipstick. Guess what? They're very similar textures. And that one is like 1/4 of the price. It has nothing to do with the product. Like I said, it's a great product. So is the Maybelline. And frankly, nowadays we have great technology that has phenomenal lip products without buying from an MLM. So all of this to say, in this day and age where people are watching what they're spending on things, where they're spending their money, people are doing everything they can to make ends meet. I think that it's really important for us as consumers of beauty products, because I am a consumer of beauty products. You best believe I do spend additional money on makeup. I mean, I'm looking at my desk right here. I have a Natasha Denona palette. These palettes are expensive. I have a Too Faced palette right here. I have Buxom gloss. I mean, clearly I'm a consumer of makeup. Clearly I don't actually mind spending a little bit of money on makeup. But to me, and there will be those that say, oh, well, you bought from Buxom. That is a huge brand. You're supporting a similar business structure. The difference is the employees of Buxom get paid whether or not I buy a product. They can go in for their 8-hour day, and even if they're only making $14 an hour, right? Even if they're only making 14 hours of 14 hours. That's it, Chell. That's correct. You don't need help at all. Even if they're only making $14 an hour, they are going to make, let's see, let me do the math right quick. So if they're making $14 an hour, they're going to make $112 a day. Now, granted, not a lot of money. However, that said, if you are selling for a MLM, you are what's called an independent contractor, which means you don't make any money unless people that are in your downline, that's what it's called when they're below you on the pyramid. I don't know why I'm still holding this. That's what it's called when you're below someone on the pyramid. You don't make any money unless someone below you on that pyramid makes money or makes a sale, or you recruit more people, or people in your downline recruit more people. Only way you make money. So you could work an entire 8-hour day, not sell a single thing, not recruit a single person, and make $0. And you could be working all day. You could be working from the time you got up, the time you went to bed. I'm just saying, for me and most people are going to take the $112. Like I said, it's not enough. It's not enough to live on. I get that. I'm not arguing. I agree. However, I'll tell you what, $112, better than nothing. It's better than working all day and getting nothing to show for it. That's why, I mean, I know that this is a very ranty video, and I think this is the only time I've ever done this kind of a ranty video before. But I just think that it's very, very important for us to be aware of this, because I do care, first of all, that people aren't being scammed and people aren't being tricked into buying gimmicky products. I can tell you right now, I have a hate-hate relationship with Monet. Is it Monet? Am I saying that wrong? I swear I'm saying it right. I could be wrong. I could be saying it wrong.
What's wrong with me?
I don't really care, because I'm never going to purchase from them anyways. But regardless, I don't want anybody to fall for what I consider scams and gimmicky products. I'll say this right now. There's a reason that Monet has had many lawsuits against them. And if you talk to someone that is picking up what they're putting down or smelling what they're stepping in, they will tell you that they've won every lawsuit. That's not true. If you look it up, they have settled. So just look it up. Google's free. I just want you to be aware of the situation. Only way you make money. So you could work an entire 8-hour day, not sell a single thing, not recruit a single person, and make $0. And you could be working all day. You could be working from the time you got up, the time you went to bed. I'm just saying, for me and most people are going to take the $112. Like I said, it's not enough. It's not enough to live on. I get that. I'm not arguing. I agree. However, I'll tell you what, $112, better than nothing. It's better than working all day and getting nothing to show for it. And that's why, I mean, I know that this is a very ranty video, and I think this is the only time I've ever done this kind of a ranty video before, but I just think that it's very, very important for us to be aware of this, because I do care, first of all, that people aren't being scammed and people aren't being tricked into buying gimmicky products. I can tell you right now, I have a hate-hate relationship with Monet. Is it Monet? Am I saying that wrong? I swear I'm saying it right.
What's wrong with me?
I could be wrong. I could be saying it wrong. I don't really care because I'm never going to purchase from them anyways. Regardless, I don't want anybody to fall for what I consider scams and gimmicky products. I'll say this right now. There's a reason that Monet has had many lawsuits against them. And if you talk to someone that is picking up what they're putting down or smelling what they're stepping in, they will tell you that they've won every lawsuit. That's not true. If you look it up, they have settled. Look it up. Google's free. I just want you to be aware of the situation. I can tell you right now, I have had clients that have used Monet. And I'll tell you what, their hair is not better off. I promise you it's not. I have seen people that use it. I have seen people that don't. It's not a better product. It's a more expensive product that doesn't really have real research behind it. You know when you get like an itch, like right inside your nostril, but you don't like pick your nose. You just kind of like, I don't know. I'm gonna go sanitize my hands. I'm back. No nose picking required. I have seen it all, and frankly, I'm not going to say that they're bad products. Like I said, I don't necessarily think that they are. I think that they're overpriced. I think that the business model is sketchy, and I think that most of the time they're not good products either. They're fine, right? But MLMs function in a certain way, and they function in that way because they're selling mediocre products for way high marked up prices. Now, don't get me wrong. If you buy a product for $20, 100%, it's marked up 100% every time. That's kind of how the retail industry works. If you buy something, it's marked up 100%. MLM products tend to be marked up 300, 400, 500% because they have to be. They have to be able to pay the upline. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. In this day and age, first of all, health and beauty, don't get me wrong, I love Natasha Denona. It's one of my favorite eyeshadow brands. I'm not even saying not to spend money on beauty products or makeup or anything like that. I'm just saying be aware of where you're putting your money. Is it an ethical business practice? Is it something that you would want to be associated with? And I mean, you can argue with me all you want that Urban Decay is not a great place to spend your money either, but Urban Decay is still paying people a wage, regardless of whether or not they sell something. So argue with your mom, argue with your sister. I don't care. I'm just saying be aware of what you're supporting. If you want to know more about MLMs, look up Isabella Lanter, look up Hannah Alonzo. Hannah Alonzo, she's very, very bingeable. She has a very calming voice, if I do say so myself, which I do. So, I mean, she's great to listen to. Just like turn it on in your car and listen to it on your way home. Great playlist. It really is. And she's got an influence and insanity videos that are pretty good too. But regardless, I really like her. But they do kind of talk a little bit more about what MLMs are and why they're not a great business model. I just wanted to give you a good overarching view of kind of my experiences with MLMs, why I think that you need to at least be aware of what they are and why they're problematic from someone who's been around them a lot and works in the beauty industry. If you stick around for this long, I do want to tell you one story. At the time, I didn't realize she was trying to recruit me into Monet, but I realize now that obviously she was trying to recruit me into Monet. But at one point in time, I had this client and Monet was all she would use on her hair. The more you say Monet, the more it actually doesn't sound like a real business name, which is what's tripping me up, I think. But she was trying to get me to be interested in it, I think. And at the time, they really only had a shampoo system. And this had to have been right when Monet started, right when they opened. I swear, let me double check that. Let me fact check myself. Oh, okay, okay. So it wasn't right when it started. It was maybe 2 years after the company opened, because Monet Hair Care was founded in October of 2024. So it was 2000, or not 2024, 2014. So this was probably in 2015. So, or 2016. It might have been 2016. So I had this client, and every time she would come in, she would talk about how great this hair care company that she was using was, and how she only wanted me to wash her hair with this brand of shampoo. And really, I wasn't that interested. I'm good at my job. So I was making polite conversation. I was asking her a little bit more about it because, I'm open, right? I'm okay with, if there's something good, I do want to know about it. So I was making some conversation, and I remember asking her, oh, well, like what conditioner do you use? And she's like, there's no conditioner. You only wash your hair. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I got some curls, and just washing with no conditioner ain't ever gonna fly with this. In fact, even half the time with conditioner, I got some dreads and doesn't look good. Most of the time my hair looks good, but that's beside the point. So, I mean, really, after she said that, I wrote it off. I was like, not interested. Thanks for telling me about it. Great. Good for you. I'm glad you like their product. But of course she like brought it in, and we washed her hair with it because she wouldn't allow me to wash her hair with anything else. So we did that. And I remember thinking, her hair's not in better condition than anybody else's hair. It really isn't. She colors her hair, she lightens her hair. I mean, her hair was in a pixie cut, so it was really short. But I mean, like, her hair was healthy, but it wasn't better. It wasn't in better condition. And frankly, she just kind of had very fine hair anyways, and it was very short. So it's not like there was really any benefits. I'm sure she wasn't seeing any benefits. But truly, I wrote it off. And thinking back now, I'm like, man, she wanted me in her MLM. So this is your reason to just be as clueless as I am and not realize that someone's trying to recruit you into their MLM. Just be clueless. It worked for me. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video about me ranting and raving about MLMs, please like and subscribe. Tell me about a time that you have been approached with beauty products that you didn't love. I'd love to hear it. Actually, I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about, is times where, like, hairdresser stories. I don't know. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I think a hairdresser stories video or series would be really bingeable. So let me know if you have a hairdresser story and you want to put it in the comments. Actually, do that. Maybe we'll make it a thing. That would be so much fun. I feel like I could give some unique context to that. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.